The top-ranked Kansas Jayhawks and the Missouri Tigers. Kansas starting Drew Gooden, Nick Collison, Kirk Heinrich, Aaron Miles, a freshman, and Jeff Boschee. From Missouri, Ricky Paulding, Trayvon Bryant, Arthur Johnson, Kareem Rush, and senior Clarence Gilbert. Kansas undefeated in conference play, 19 straight conference wins overall. With John Sundvold, this is Kevin Harlan. Undefeated in conference play this season, John, unheard of.
The only team that can do it this year in Major Division I basketball is this Kansas squad. But this will be their toughest foe of the season.
And Gooden's first shot is retrieved by Clarence Gilbert. And Kareem Rush into Bryant, whacked by Collison. He picks up a foul for Kansas.
Missouri has won 5 of the last 6 here in the Hearnes Center in Columbia. They want to get out to a fast start. Missouri has been up and down this season, Kevin. They have struggled against strong physical teams. But with the tempo that Kansas wants to play, I think Missouri wants to get up and down, try to free their shooters in Gilbert and Rush.
And those two guys, you think the key for Missouri this afternoon?
Yeah, I believe so. Kareem Rush, again, another guy that's been up and down to the season, has not been a big-time player in their big-time games, and he needs to this afternoon.
Kansas 15-0, and as John just told you, not a single team in Major College Division I going for an undefeated conference record. 19 straight conference wins dating back to last season.
In the first matchup in Lawrence, won by Kansas 105-73, 43-42 at halftime. Kansas scored 62 points in the second half. They're explosive.
It's Heinrich the junior with the Gooden screen. Rush is following Heinrich in.
Good matchup, Paulding on Boschee. Boschee has shot the ball extremely well this season.
Here's Gooden trying to carve his way inside and ties the game at 2.
Now, terrific junior season for Drew Gooden. Can hit from all angles. Even though he's 6'10", puts it on the floor extremely well.
Paulding coming off a 21-point game the other night here against number 12 Oklahoma State in a Missouri 3-point win.
Gilbert, the only senior, will look for his shot early, I believe, in this ballgame.
Kareem Rush. Bryant. Nice defense by Gooden.
Well, Bryant's got to finish that one. Rush wide of the mark. Heinrich did a good job in Lawrence on it.
Rush for 3. He's missed his first 2. But out of bounds. What kind of defensive team is Kansas?
Yeah, Kansas, man-to-man defensively, they will give you a few looks. They want this game up and down the floor. They want more possessions on the offensive end.
And how about Missouri on the defensive end?
And Missouri, man-to-man defensively, has really struggled in the physical game. They're going to have to rebound the ball better than they have against some of their opponents.
A Kansas foul on an Aaron Miles miss. And this goes on Gooden, who picks up his first in his 14th season. Roy Williams, the head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks. Many people think he should be the conference coach of the year. Others say Bob Knight at Texas Tech. We'll talk about that later on. Here's Rush with Heinrich on him. Clarence Gilbert for 3.
Senior day. You look for seniors to have big ball games.
It's Gooden. Rush is on Heinrich. Batted by Gooden, retrieved by Boschee, and a fresh shot clock.
Tough shot attempt by Heinrich.
And Gooden from the field has gone 1 of 3 to start the game. Clarence Gilbert and a rejection inside. Simeon made it.
A good block by Simeon, hustling back defensively. Gilbert thought he had one coast to coast, likes to pull up for the shot, but the explosion to the rim, and there was the freshman Wayne Simeon.
Simeon quickly out, and Ben Collison comes in the game. Trayvon Bryant will check out as you take a look at Quinn Snyder, and Justin Gage has come in for Snyder, who's in his 3rd year as the coach of the Missouri Tigers. In the first meeting with these two teams, Kansas beat Missouri and Lawrence by 32 points as the Jayhawks shot 62% from the field.
from the field, from the three-point line, also 62, 90% from the free throw line. It was a clinic on the offensive end.
Any way you look at it, and it was a one-point game at halftime back on the 28th of January.
If you are a basketball fan, you will enjoy watching Kansas play. They're an unselfish team. They give the ball up to each other. An outstanding shooting team. They lead the country in scoring, field goal percentage, and number 2 in three-point percentage. Roy Williams' ball club, it is a fun group to watch.
They are fixing something on the floor. I guess it's nothing more than moisture.
Well, initially, I think there are some bodies Missouri trying to line up in a straight line. Kirk Heinrich tried to step in between the offensive players and kind of mix things up a little bit.
Jayhawks, one of the best shooting teams in the country. #1 scoring team, #1 shooting team, #4 in three-point percentage.
Kevin, they are average 21 assists a ball game. We mentioned unselfish. They take high-quality shots from their best shooters, and the first 8 guys that walk on the court can all score the ball.
And John, shockingly for Kansas, they start 3 guys in the backcourt, all under 6'4".
And every one of those players, Boshi, Heinrich, and Miles, have played point guard at some time.
Ricky Paulding knocks in a three-point shot. Missouri has hit 2 threes. Gage breaks up the pass. Here comes Kareem Rush. Ricky Paulding, who came off the bench earlier in the season and now starts for Mizzou.
May have had the most consistent of years for Quinn Snyder.
It's Gilbert driving. Clarence Gilbert has started 2 of 3 from the field. Boshi to Miles to Collison, in for Gooden. The pass a bit wayward and out of bounds and off the #1 ranked Jayhawks. Kansas has not, as John said earlier, had a lot of success in this building over the last many years.
Well, 5 of the last 6 in the last couple of years, Missouri has played extremely well when they're on their home court and their shooters are shooting. Difficult to beat.
Kareem Rush, but they wipe it away with the charge.
Good job defensively, weak side. Jeff Boshi, the senior, sliding over. Good backdoor cut, though, by Rush.
Missouri had the win over 12th-ranked Oklahoma State on Monday. A couple days off, back to practice on Thursday. Kansas beat Kansas State Wednesday by 35 in Lawrence, which takes us to this afternoon.
Now, what's amazing about Kansas at being 15-0, Kevin, is that not only do they get the best shot from everybody, which they do year in and year out, but when you're undefeated and sitting #1 in the country, they have had to go on the road and try to pull out some tough wins.
Heinrich from 3 and from outside, and Heinrich, one of the great three-point shooters on the Jayhawks, as Missouri comes the other way.
You mentioned Heinrich at 46% three-point shooter, set a conference record at 50.5% a year ago.
Collison, he shoots 60%, lobs it in for Gooden, who's fouled. Count the 2.
Now there's the unselfish play and the vision that all of these Jayhawks have. Collison might have had a jump shot himself. He took a peek, threw good and standing open inside. Kevin, anytime you travel on the road, especially conference play, you've got to withstand really the first 4 or 5 minutes of emotion that a home team will have and a home crowd will have.
Missouri foul goes on Gage. It is a 3-point game. Trayvon Bryant back in. Clarence Gilbert for 3. And a good rebound.
And right on target. Shot that at the same angle we were looking at, the front rim.
Freshman Miles into the junior Collison. And here's Drew Gooden, maybe the college basketball player of the year. Miles inside around Johnson. And ricochets out of bounds.
They are playing off Aaron Miles, who's going to have to start looking for a shot a little bit.
Missouri has led by as many as 8. Their lead is at 3 in the Rocket Hearnes Center in Columbia. First conference loss of the season. The Jayhawks come in unbeaten in conference play this afternoon. Kevin Harlan with John Sunvold. The place is rocking. Missouri holding their own. They've hit a couple threes.
Again, Missouri likes the up-tempo pace. They want open shots by their shooters. Gilbert off to a good start early.
No substitutions for either team. As we come back from the timeout, Tigers led by 8. Now they're up by 3.
Changing defensively that time by Kansas. Little trap at half court. I think right now the story of the game so far, Kevin, is defensively Missouri's been pretty good against this Kansas team.
A Boshi foul right there. as Ricky Paulding tried to maneuver the ball around. Missouri was off for 2 days this week, John, after playing on Monday. What do you think about that this time of the season?
Well, it's good at this time of the season. Big win against Oklahoma State on Monday night. Maybe secured the bid in the NCAA tournament.
Rush across the lane. Paulding for three.
A tough shot, Moshi right in his face.
Ricky Paulding has put up 2 shots, both three-point shots, both right on the money. And a foul called on the Tigers. Arthur Johnson was inside, shoving in the big center out of Detroit. A sophomore picks it up.
You know, Paulding up to 43% from beyond the three-point line this in his sophomore season. You mentioned 21 against Oklahoma State on Monday night. Really the key reason why the Tigers won that ball game.
Justin Gage is back in. Johnson is on the bench for Missouri. About 5 minutes gone here in the first half.
Clarence Gilbert backing off Aaron Miles. Miles is going to have to pick up the slack, make up the slack by the dribble.
Collison with the drive, and one of the great shooters in the game, over 60% from the field.
I think he'll need more touches this afternoon. Put pressure on Trayvon Bryan or Arthur Johnson inside.
Boshi with the steal, and a big steal last week at Nebraska. Heinrich flies, rejected by Paulding. And it's Kansas's ball.
We have seen the speed by Heinrich before. As fast as anyone in getting the ball to the basket, but Ricky Paulding, a high flyer, can go up with anybody. Terrific hustle, great block.
Wesley Stokes comes in now for Missouri. He will man the point. He was the starting point of the season. Then when he wasn't getting it done, they put Clarence Gilbert there, who now guards Heinrich, and it goes into Collison, who's hit 2 in a row from the same spot.
Good set play, good pass by Heinrich right on the money, away from the defender.
Stokes from Long Beach, California. Clarence Gilbert from Fort Lauderdale working on Boshi. Missouri 4 of 9 to begin the game, shooting from the field. Trayvon Bryant. And a Langford rebound for Kansas. Boshi slides the other way for 2.
Cannot take a chance unless you have a steal at half court. If you can make the steal, fine. If you miss that steal, as Gilbert did, Boshi, Heinrich, Miles, Langford, they will make you pay.
Gooden is on the bench. Gilbert for 3. Missouri senior Clarence Gilbert has hit 2 three-point shots to begin the game.
A week ago from Saturday, Clarence Gilbert made 12 threes in a ballgame. When he gets hot, which is a Big 12 record, he will keep looking for that shot.
4th best in college basketball ever.
And Roy Williams made a statement that said that Gilbert is one of those players that can get shots off no matter who is defending, and if he's hot, he is difficult to go.
Collison in mid-stride takes it up, is fouled on the play. John just talked about the senior Gilbert in Boulder last week, Saturday, against Colorado. He was incredible.
12 of 17 beyond the three-point line. Got a lot of open looks early. Late in that game against Colorado, they were challenging him, but Clarence answered. But he has been a streaky shooter. Monday night, he was 0 for 7 beyond the three-point line.
Jeffrey Ferguson will check in for the first time this afternoon for the Missouri Tigers with Arthur Johnson. Stokes remains. Kareem Rush is in there. In the free throw line is Collison for Kansas. Simeon, the freshman from Leavenworth, Kansas, puts it in.
Collison, a 56% free throw shooter. It looked like Missouri got caught flat-footed. You shouldn't be. If you know the personnel, you have to understand the guy's a 50% shooter. Has a chance probably to miss 1 or 2.
Jayhawks with their first lead. Paulding will try to erase it. Rush was inside, battling with Langford. Jeff Carey will check in the game now for Kansas. His father played at the University of Missouri back in the early 70s.
Captain, actually, 1964. Bob Vanetta was the coach. We talked to him last week after a ball game, and Ray Carey said, well, it's interesting. Obviously a Kansas fan now, but when Jeff graduates, I'll get out the black and gold once again.
Paulding was driving inside. The foul was called. Carey was right there. And a foul.
Carey, a 5th-year senior, big ball game last Sunday in their win against Nebraska. A couple big rebounds, big putback. 88-87 win in Lincoln.
John, there is no doubt that the Missouri Tigers can take a gigantic step today with the win over the top-ranked team in the country.
Well, when you talk about NCAA bids, are they on the bubble? Probably not. They should be in 20 wins, above a 500 record. They're 9-6 in conference play in a tough conference. But if you can win today, now you talk about seeding and where you're seeded, where do you go, where do you play?
Oshie the other way. Carey, Langford, Simeon, and Heinrich out there for the Jayhawks. Into Simeon. Johnson defending. And a rebound by Jeffrey Ferguson. Stokes better coming off the bench than as a starter.
He has been, and he's been more calm. Shoots only open shots. Has been very good with the assist to turnover ratio.
Kansas has started the game 53% from the field. Missouri 38% from the floor. Simeon checks out. Drew Gooden comes back in. Who is your college player of the year? Gooden at Kansas?
I like Gooden.
Jason Williams.
I like Gooden. I think Jason Williams has had a couple ball games and has cost his team dearly down the stretch of games, and one was the other night against Virginia. I think Gooden has been solid from the minute they've tossed it up early.
Stokes and a Boshi foul again.
Not a good foul by Boshi out front. You're guarding a player that's really a non-offensive factor as far as shooting the ball. Boshi going for a steal and then the little grab.
Boshi's got 2 fouls. He will sit on the bench along with Simeon and Collison. Kansas has Carey, Miles, Gooden, and Langford, the freshman from Fort Worth who won the game at Lincoln a week ago today against Nebraska. Josh Kroenke is now in for Missouri. Arthur Johnson, who has played great, losing it inside. Good to Miles. To Hearnes. They never let the ball touch the floor when they go the other way.
Well, again, unselfish play. They will swing the ball, the movement, the screens for each other. Missouri's done a nice job, though, of challenging every shooter except that time. Langford, very good at putting it on the floor. One of those gifted players with a mid-range game. Only a freshman.
Flying the other way was Gilbert with a foul on Kansas. Missouri is led by as many as 8. The Jayhawks now holding on to a 3-point lead, and this is their biggest of the game.
And how quickly Missouri trying to put it on top of this Jayhawk team. We've talked all season long about how Kansas, how fast they are going from the defensive end to the offensive end. Missouri trying to do the same.
There's Clarence Gilbert at the free throw line, and he is an 81% free throw shooter. And check out the road to the Final Four. Games of Impact delivered by UPS at cbs.sportsline.com. One America Online, enter keyword CBS Sportsline.
Partner March Madness is here.
Feel it.
It is fun.
With John Sunbolt, Kevin Harlan, the Hearnes Center in Columbia filled to capacity. It's been a close game so far, but #1 ranked Kansas on top of Missouri, 20-18. The 3-point shot by Nebraska last week was key. They had 18 against #1 ranked Kansas. Missouri hoping for the same thing this afternoon.
Tigers off to a good start, 4 of 8 beyond the 3-point line. They have set a Big 12 record in the Colorado game at 20 makes. And we saw, as you mentioned, Kevin, last week when teams shoot the 3-pointer away, things change in a hurry.
Missouri is led by as many as 8. They're only shooting 35%. Kansas has led by as many as 3. The freshman from Portland, Oregon, Aaron Miles. To Kirk Heinrich.
Yeah, the key so far early, I believe Kansas has taken one of Missouri's best shots and still have a 2-point lead. And if Missouri can stay at this pace.
Gilbert can tie. Rejected by Gooden, who swats it to the side. And a second foul is picked up inside.
Great hustle defensively. Drew Gooden is back on the baseline, outruns everybody, and here he comes. Shot goes up and the block.
They've taken away the foul, and they've just called out of bounds. 31 seconds. So one official overruling the other. Here comes Holden.
And what a play defensively. I think Gilbert thought he had an open layup.
Kareem Rush. Arthur Johnson, who's averaging 18 points and 10 rebounds over the last handful of games, shows you why he can move the pile.
Uses that big, solid body. Big frame, 6'9", 280. Loves the little jump hook with the right hand.
There's Gooden with the shot. A rebound by Paulding inside. Kansas from the field, 9 of 18. Paulding. Johnson trying for it. Volleyballs with Heinrich in a foul. It's on Kansas. Arthur Johnson is a 6'9" sophomore and one of the top scorers and rebounders in the Big 12.
12 points, 8 rebounds in his sophomore season. We mentioned the big win against Oklahoma State on Monday. 18 points in that ball game. 14 rebounds also.
And with Johnson at the stripe, Kansas has already captured their 3rd Big 12 regular season title. As you take a look at Johnson and some of his numbers in the categories that matter. How tough a team, John, is Missouri?
Probably where they have lacked the most. Physically, toughness. They have struggled in the games against an Oklahoma or a Texas or a Texas Tech, teams that physically get after you. Remember, this is a team that in the preseason, many picked the Tigers to be a top 10 team. They climbed to number 2 in the ranking and now are no longer ranked. They've had some big ups, but they've had a lot of downs.
Gooden has 6. We're tied at 22. Kareem Rush from Kansas City.
Rush having a hard time finding any looks.
Stokes. Rush. Defense by Bryant Nash, who just checks in, but he can't stop Kareem Rush, whose brother Jerron, you may recall, played at UCLA. Aaron Miles lost it inside to Bryant. Here comes Rush, a 2-on-1. Now Kansas back defensively. Rush for 3.
Another guy you can't leave if he's bringing the ball down the floor. Nash ran away from him.
It's into Gooden. And rejected by Missouri as they pick up a foul. It's a 5-point game as Kareem Rush buries the 5th 3-point shot for Missouri this afternoon.
And you saw Bryant Nash running beside him and kind of going down the middle of the floor. Now you have to go attack him. Kareem Rush can score in a hurry. Only 20 points a ball game. And when he hits 1 or 2, he might hit 5 or 6 in a row.
John, everybody in talking about the #1 ranked Kansas Jayhawks talks about their high basketball IQ. They are, I think, in the view of many, Roy Williams' team, a thinking basketball team.
You've got to stay with that. You've got to understand scouting reports, what players you're guarding, who you see coming down the floor at all times. And any lapses against a good player or a good team will cost you.
Gooden's got 7. And he leads Kansas. 9 from Gilbert, 7 from Ricky Paulding. Missouri shooting 42%. Clarence Gilbert.
Is that the 3rd personal?
Boshi just picked up his 3rd, and that is an early story in this game.
Now, Jeff has had such a good senior season. This Kansas team. Big shots that he's made down the stretches. He hit one at Iowa State, a couple big threes in the win on the road at Texas last week when they were down 12. At Nebraska, 2 threes that got him close in that ball game, and then they won. Now he will sit out the rest of this half with 3 personal fouls.
Missouri now by 5. They've led by 8. How worthy, John, is Missouri in the NCAA landscape right now, as without this game included?
Well, I believe they're in again, but you do not want to give any reason not to be in. They will, if they were to lose today, they will travel and play in the 1st round. They would play Iowa State on Thursday in the Big 12 tournament.
Great pass by Gooden inside.
That would maybe put pressure on this Tiger team to win on Thursday.
Kansas 55% from the field. Rush. Gooden bats it. Retrieved by Miles. Into Stokes. A nice rebound inside by Clarence Gilbert. Good pace to Rush. Here he comes. Slashing across the way. Uncovered Arthur Johnson.
Quinn Snyder likes this pace, Kevin.
This is the Kansas pace.
They want to push. They want to get good looks.
It's Gooden again. Rebound by Stokes and a foul on Missouri. A shove on the rebound try.
Missouri's coaching staff feels that they can get the ball out and run, and if the big players run, you might find some loose ends on the other side, and Arthur Johnson hustling down for the follow-up.
There's a look at Roy Williams. Is he your Big 12 Conference Coach of the Year?
Yeah, he is. He took a team that, again, predicted to win the league, but as tough as this league has been, and they've gone 15-0 trying to go undefeated. A marvelous job. And again, it's the way that this Kansas team approaches the game. They're unselfish, well-disciplined, don't force a lot of shots. They play on the defensive end.
There's some numbers on Roy Williams. 13th consecutive season of 20 wins or more. Now, there are other people in this conference. To take a look at Texas Tech Red Raider coach Bobby Knight.
Well, Bobby Knight has done a solid job. 21 wins. They will finish a tie for third, which no one predicted him up there. Kelvin Sampson has done a wonderful job at Oklahoma with a lot of new faces. They may be a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament also.
Kansas trying to become the first team in the short history of the Big 12 to go undefeated in conference plays. Ben Snyder has a word. Stokes, Justin Gage, Kareem Rush, Trayvon Bryant, all out there. Ricky Paulding is the 5th Missouri Tiger.
When you think of undefeated in the old Big 8, these are the last two teams that have done it. 1994, Missouri 14-0. Melvin Booker, Big 8 Player of the Year that year. 1971, Kansas went 14-0. Dave Robish, Big 8 Player of the Year that year.
Stokes is hurt. At the other end, good. And Heinrich against Ricky Paulding. Shot clock at 25, plenty of time. Gooden's in a straitjacket.
Solid defense by Justin Gage.
Langford slashing down the baseline. It's a rebound by Gage and out to Kareem Rush. With Missouri leading by 4, they led that by 8 early in the game, 10-2. Ricky Paulding. He's got 9.
And movement on the offensive end away from the ball has been good for Missouri. The cuts are harder. The picks are more solid.
John, right now, we've just got 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half, but this appears to be amongst Missouri's grittiest beginnings to a game this season. And that's why they're on top of #1 ranked Kansas 33. That's the Sports Line with John Sunvold, Kevin Harlan. In a jam-packed Hearnes Center on the Norm Stewart Court here in Columbia, Missouri.
And #1 seed. You think Kansas, Duke, Maryland, and then who fills in the 4?
Kansas shooting 47% from the field, and Heinrich a good spoon feed from around the circle, and the Jayhawks to within 4.
Good pass by Miles. Good find. Aaron Miles, as a freshman, has had a terrific year. 4-to-1 in assist-to-turnover ratio in conference play.
Missouri +4 in rebounding to begin the game, and they're shooting 43%. Nice denial inside by Simeon, retrieved by Heinrich. Into Miles, rejected by Paulding, picked up by Heinrich, and in it goes. It's like a circus. They're flying all over the place.
It's the kind of game you like to watch. Up and down, the pace is terrific.
Simeon, the freshman, just picks up a Kansas foul.
Kirk Heinrich, who has moved up the scoring ranks, now at over 1,000 points in his career in his junior season.
His dad, a high school basketball coach. He was the Mr. Basketball in the state of Iowa with his teammate Collison for the Jayhawks. They come together as a package. Now, he almost didn't go to Kansas, Heinrich.
Committed to Iowa State, Tim Floyd. Then Tim Floyd left in his junior season. Committed to Iowa State. Tim Floyd then went to take the Chicago Bulls job, which we all questioned way back then for Tim Floyd. Don't do that. Michael's not there.
You know he's going to emerge on the college scene, I would assume. In the next
terrific coach.
6 months. Brett Ballard has now come in for Kansas, a senior point guard.
And Iowa and Iowa State fans both say that Collison and Heinrich both left the state.
Clarence Gilbert.
Top shot.
Clarence Gilbert has 13 points. He has knocked down 2 3-point shots. Missouri again by 5. 6.5 to play in the half. Brett Ballard. Drew Good. And Wayne Simeon.
Simeon, a powerful post player, but has a soft touch on the turnaround. Good shooter from 15 feet in.
Ricky Paulding again. Down the lane. Rejected by Simeon, and the Jayhawks have their 3rd blocked shot of the afternoon.
Anytime you turn the corner, you know Kansas will come from the weak side to help. The key, if you're an offensive player, sometimes you may miss a shot, but if he throws that high off the glass, Missouri has 2 offensive rebounders on the other side.
Gage is gone. Kroenke back in for the Tigers with Johnson, Bryant, Gilbert, and Paulding. Rush on the Missouri bench for Coach Quinn Snyder. Langford trying to defend Paulding. Johnson lost it. Collison has it. And a foul on Missouri. Trayvon Bryant, he did. He got it. And for Bryant, number 2, he is the only Tiger with 2 fouls. Kansas has 3 on Jeff Boschee. Thus, he is on the bench, and thus they bring in the 3rd guard, Brett Ballard.
Kevin, the tendency you have when you play in these kind of big ball games and the pace is so fast, on the offensive end, you bunch up too much. Everybody's in the paint. Everybody's trying to push it. What you've got to do is be patient enough, even though the pace is good, to keep the floor spread. Both teams, if they keep it spread, that frees up their shooters and frees up the lane to drive the ball.
Collison has it. Thursday on America's #1 reality show. The survivors have just arrived on the island. They've been given no food. Now they're hunting, gathering, and building a brand new civilization. Don't miss an all-new Survivor, Marquesas. Thursday on CBS. Kroenke checks out. Bring back in Stokes. And Ricky Paulding is gone as well.
And when Stokes comes in, it allows Clarence Gilbert to go to more of a natural 2-guard shooting position. Come off more screens looking for a shot.
They've asked a lot of him, John, to go from the 2 guard to the point guard.
Yeah, and in his senior season, I mean, he committed himself to making sure this Tiger team could get some wins.
Intercepted by Collison in the turnover category this afternoon. Missouri and Kansas about the same. That's a 3-point hit, and it's outside and authored by Kirk Hinrich.
Recognition of who you're guarding. Hinrich got a screen. Gilbert went underneath the screen. You better chase over the top. Hinrich will make you pay.
That gives the visiting #1 ranked Kansas Jayhawks a 2-point lead. 9-0. They then staggered mid-season. They've won 20 games. And Coach Quinn Snyder looking for his 3rd consecutive NCAA bid here at the University of Missouri. They are on the fringe right now as you take a look at their season.
Well, early in the season, coming off the loss in the NCAA tournament last year against Duke, they started 8th, climbed all the way to number 2, and then tough losses to Iowa, Illinois, and a bad one at DePaul. And all of a sudden, they're finding themselves, when they got to conference play, in one of those positions where they had to win more games. They struggled on the road against the tougher, more physical teams in the Big 12.
Missouri Tigers this afternoon have hit 5 3-point shots. Kansas 2. Here's another 3 by Rush.
Because of their offensive ability, though, they're a team you really don't want to match up with when tournament time starts.
Hinrich outside, Langford for 3. And the Jayhawks have their biggest lead this afternoon, 41-36, a lead of 5.
Ball movement, body spacing, find the shooters. Langford delivered there as he did last Sunday, the game winner against the Cornhuskers.
Gilbert into Arthur Johnson. Simeon with the rebound.
Oh, that's strong rebound.
Kansas, one of the better rebounding teams in the Big 12. Number 2 coming into this afternoon.
Take a look at how this Kansas team pushes, and the floor is spread. Good penetration. Wide open look for Langford. Confident stroke. He came off that screen in Lincoln, Nebraska. Down the stretch, they're down. No hesitation. Turned, fired that 3-pointer in to win.
Kansas starts Boschee, Hinrich, and Miles, all under 6'4", but John, all either current or at one time starting point guards for the Jayhawks.
So any of the 3, when they get a rebound, can push to the other end.
Gilbert for 3. Tapping by Kareem Rush. Miles, Collison, he may have taken a step and didn't get caught. Here comes Gilbert the other way. 2-on-1. Buckle up for Kareem Rush.
Good steal by Missouri, but sloppy ball handling by Kansas. You got to give it to him in the post. Collison's on the block. Got to give it to him. He's too good down low.
Rush has 9. Here comes Collison. Rebound by Gilbert. Tore it away from Ballard, who picks up the Kansas foul. Clarence Gilbert leads the Tigers, leads the game with 13 points.
Well, the ability to stop and to come off shots and shoot it, Rush with the follow-up there, and this time the steal by Clarence in the alley-oop. Rush with easy finish.
Here's Clarence Gilbert at the free throw line. 2 consecutive wins for the Missouri Tigers coming into this afternoon. 3 of 5 overall. And it again bears repeating. Missouri has won 5 of the last 6 games against Kansas in Columbia. In fact, 2 straight. And of course, when Kansas has gone for an undefeated conference season, Missouri has been their only conference loss back in '97 and '98, both times here. Simeon approaching 4 to play in the first half. Heinrich wheels and fires. What a shot!
Heinrich, the ability to put the ball on the floor and keep the ball away from the defender. Uses his body well.
Heinrich's got 10. Rush to Johnson. Bulldozing inside. And Gage out to Gilbert. A fresh shot clock at 35 seconds. A seductive fake, and here comes Gilbert. Miles the rebound. Heinrich wasn't expecting the pass. And off Missouri. Each team in single digits in turnovers. Missouri is at 5 3-point shots. It's a 2-point game in the first half. Today of college basketball scores and highlights, plus a look at Illinois junior Frank Williams, who after a slow start is elevating his game just in time for March Madness. That's on the singular at the half with John Sunvold, Kevin Harlan. In Columbia, Missouri, Brett Ballard is in at the point. Miles remains in there as well.
And Roy Williams has not been happy in this game with some of the decision-making, though Aaron Miles has made. He pushes in a hurry, but sometimes he gets too congested in the paint. Ballard had the terrific game last Sunday against Nebraska.
And a foul is on Missouri. With 3:13 to play, the Missouri Tigers have led by as many as 8. Kansas Jayhawks have led by as many as 5. Paulding picks up his first. Clarence Gilbert leading all scorers with 14. Heinrich has 10 for the Jayhawks. At the free throw line is Paulison. John mentioned it before, just 56% from the free throw line. John, Kansas has been in the top 8 all season, number 2 since mid-February. Tell me about the pressure they're going through right now.
I think this team doesn't play with pressure. Watching them as often as I have, they just simply play the game regardless of score. That's maybe the reason why I like them so much. They just continue to play. They have not looked at any time as though they're trying to save some games. They just keep going at all times.
Clarence Gilbert gives you a different move with every part of his body. One, he's got 16.
His off-balance shots are on balance for him. That is how he takes it to shoot.
Kansas on top by 4. A foul called on Ballard. And Gilbert has done that all afternoon long. Stopping on a dime. One deceptive move after another. And that will take him to the free throw line right now.
It's ball fake, kind of a herky-jerky move. He will lift his shoulders, move him around a little bit. Good pump fake there. Goes back to the foul line. Only 4 of 6 from the line this afternoon. 80% free throw shooting.
Missouri at the line as a team, 10 of 14. Kansas 8 of 12. As you take a look, John, at Missouri's NCAA chances, this RPI, which is such, it seems for so many, a defining factor of where teams should be, where they might be headed, where they've been. How does Missouri rank in terms of all that and where they could be going?
Well, they've gone below the number 50. They've been in the mid-50s, actually went above 50. Now dropped down to 48 after the win against Oklahoma State. This game, win or lose, helps your RPI because of who you're playing. I mean, the RPI is an interesting animal to deal with.
Tapped back up and in by an uncovered Nick Collison. He's got 15, and the Jayhawks have just clamped down to their biggest lead today.
What I've always figured when you're thinking of making the NCAA, you want to make it instead of let the committee put you in or out. Just take care of business yourself.
Gilbert trying to do that with that 3 right there. And a foul. It's on Missouri. It was on the rebounding try. And it goes against Justin Gage, who picks up his second. Justin Gage, by the way, in all Big 12 first team wide receiver for the football team.
And that says a lot coming from the Big 12 conference in football. The guy who brings toughness to Quinn Snyder's ball club. Gage took a couple of days off after football season. came to the basketball, everybody thought, well, maybe he won't play. But I think Quinn Snyder had a smile on his face when Justin Gage walked in and said, hand me a practice uniform.
Gage will check out. There's a look at Quinn Snyder, who was the assistant head coach with Mike Krzyzewski and Duke. And then came here to Missouri. They've just redone his deal in the last year after he had the successful one win in the tournament a year ago. Full court pressure here by Kansas. Missouri beat Georgia before they eventually lost to Duke last season.
Beat Georgia at the buzzer. Clarence Gilbert. The knockout punch there.
Here's Gilbert.
Gilbert does not get a lot of shots off his own dribble.
Kareem Rush.
Good defense.
And a rebound by Heinrich. Collison has scored the last 8 points for Kansas. Langford, who hit the game winner again last week, and Lincoln. And double teamed and forced to travel inside.
Well, as every great Kansas team has been in Roy Williams ball clubs, you wait for these little runs that they make on the opponent. We've got a little one going right now here in the first half. Missouri needs a basket.
Biggest lead of the game for the #1 ranked Kansas Jayhawks, now at 8. Missouri led by 8 earlier on. Gilbert. Shot clock at 17. What a pass to Rush. And the same to Johnson, but he couldn't reel it in. Gilbert for 3. And a rebound by Collison. Missouri's got to hit their shots to be successful.
Well, he's not going to get many open looks. Exchanging an open Gilbert 3 for what they had underneath sometimes is a better exchange.
Johnson with the rebound. Langford foul for Kansas. 1:09 to play in the first half. The Missouri Tigers are shooting 37%. Kansas almost 53% in the first half.
One of the keys that Kansas, watching them all season long, Kevin, is the pace that they play. It's a conditioning game. Missouri's got to be able to be in such good condition to stay at this pace for 40 minutes.
So here's Arthur Johnson. From Detroit, John told you, a huge 18-point, 14-rebound game against then number 12 Oklahoma State on Monday here at the Hearnes Center. And coming Monday, March 11th, CBS is your ticket to unbelievable adventure on 5 continents and 8 countries in a race around the world. Don't miss the premiere of The Amazing Race, Monday, March 11th on CBS. John Sundvold, Kevin Harlan, Johnson again. And a rebound by Heinrich. They're approaching 1 minute to play. 51-44. Top-ranked Kansas leading Missouri. If Kansas win, they go undefeated in conference play, 16-0.
2-3 zone by Missouri. The one guy on the floor for Kansas that you would not leave open is Kirk Heinrich, who got the open look.
Heinrich knocks down another 3. He's got 13 points. He's got 3 3-point hits today.
Must communicate the defensive end.
Kansas with their biggest lead of 10. Trying to go inside of a Kansas foul.
KU foul on number 10, Heinrich, his second.
Take a look, the zone defense again. The one guy you would guard with this lineup that is out on the floor that you must get a hand in his face is Kirk Heinrich. 46% beyond the 3-point line.
Free throw shooting for Missouri now this afternoon. 11 of 19. Kansas 10 of 14. Rebounding, Missouri +1. Rush. Really, it's been Collison and Heinrich that have been the big guns for Kansas. Heinrich is now on the bench. Collison has had a nice first half of 17 points.
Tigers back to man-to-man defensively. Good defense by Ferguson.
Good is 3 of 9. He's got 7.
And has settled, I think, for some shots that you could get any time in your offensive set.
Big possession here for Missouri.
It is. The end of the half. A little momentum.
Gilbert. He's got a fire. It's a pass to Johnson to beat the buzzer. And that takes us at halftime. Missouri led by 8. Kansas has led by as many as 10. And Greg Gumbel, it's living up to its billing. 54-45, #1 ranked Kansas.
The road to the Final Four is sponsored by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. CBS Market Watch. It's more than just news. It's news you can use. And by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Kansas is led by as many as 10. Missouri by as many as 8. 4 ties, 3 lead changes. Kansas, the top team in the country. With John Sunbolt, Kevin Harlan, great to have you with us this afternoon. You played in this Kansas-Missouri matchup when you were here with the Tigers.
Like any rivalry, I think as a player, you feel it from the professors, students, and fans more than anything. It's a buildup.
And how does Quinn Snyder, the current coach of the Missouri Tigers, feel about things?
I think it's important for our guys to have a sense of the tradition and the rivalry. And in fact, we took edits from tapes dating, 10, 15 years back to try to give our team an even greater sense of history and what's at stake.
And of course, as a player, he played 5 times against Kansas while at Duke. So he knows the tradition on one side. Now he's coaching Missouri and hoping to establish a continued tradition here with the Tigers. Kansas, John, finished the first half on a 13-4 run.
Well, the big key, the 53% from the field. Missouri's either going to have to match it on their end on the offensive end or find a way to slow this Kansas team down.
The things Missouri's going to have to get more of in that second half. Something more from their bench. No one from the bench attempted a shot in that first half.
And Boshi now picked up his 4th personal foul.
He's got 4, and he'll be
about ready to say Boshi's got to be careful. I wasn't sure if he reached or if Baldy simply lost control of the ball. But this has been a, so far, disappointing afternoon for Jeff Boshi's last trip to the Hearnes Center.
After having a very good game in his last game at Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence on Wednesday against Kansas State. Gilbert, Paulding, Trayvon Bryant, Rush, and Arthur Johnson out there for the Tigers. Paulding, shot, puts one in.
Good start. Tigers have to score early to stay in this ballgame.
Paulding has 11. And inside, Collison, who's been spectacular, 19 points in just over 14 minutes, 4 rebounds and 2 assists.
Well, there are many that are going to leave Nick Collison off the first team in the Big 12 All-Conference team, and they shouldn't. Heinrich, Collison, and Gooden all should be on that first team.
Miles, side to Langford. And it's the biggest lead for the #1 ranked Jayhawks this afternoon.
You get it off one end, and they push in a hurry.
Kansas trying to go undefeated in conference play. First time they will have done that as a school since the 70-71 season. Rush has been quiet. And Kareem only 4 of 11 shooting in the first half, and a foul called on Kansas. A 3rd foul is called on Heinrich.
Collison inside has all the moves that every coach teaches, and he uses them. Very effective when he catches on the low block, and a terrific pass from one freshman to the other. Miles to Langford, easy finish.
Rush at the free throw line. A lot of questions, John, whether this young kid, who is a first-team preseason AP All-America and has not had the kind of season he had envisioned, will stay, or will this be his last home game? What do you think?
Well, it's hard to tell. You know, you only need one team at that next level that wants you. And I think after the season, like any good coach, Quinn Snyder will sit down with Kareem Rush and they'll evaluate where he is and what the NBA thinks of him.
What do you think he should do?
I think he should come back. This season has really showed some weaknesses in his game, and there's some flaws there that they will truly exploit at the next level.
Heinrich fires one in to Collison, and Collison has been the star. 21 points for the Jayhawks and 6 of 8 from the field. Rush again, double team.
Good job by Collison. He shows, makes Rush pick up the dribble, then gets back to his own man.
Clarence Gilbert has 16 points. Arthur Johnson snaps it out to Paulding for 3. It's an 8-point game.
And good patience by Arthur Johnson on the low block. Don't get in a hurry. If you're big enough, just take your time.
Miles. Heinrich. How about the Missouri defense?
Well, they stopped the initial phase right there by Kansas, but they'll come at you again.
Oh, what a shot by Heinrich.
Loves to move to his right. He gets his left shoulder into the defender. Keeps the right arm, right hand away. The balance, concentration. The finish.
Was he on your first team all Big 12?
Oh, yeah. He has a chance. He will get quite a few votes as player of the year in the conference, although I think Drew Gooden will win that award. But many coaches feel that when Heinrich goes out of the lineup, Kansas is an easier team to play against. They need him on the floor.
Rush for three. Collison with the rebound for Kansas. He now has 6 with his 21 points. Miles piercing the lane and a foul.
Better patience that time by Aaron Miles out front. Didn't go in a hurry. Pushed it and then took a look what the defense was giving him.
It is amazing when you take a look at the Kansas scoring. John, 4 players averaging more than 14 points a game for this team.
Yeah, amazing. All consistent, all solid shooters. We mentioned in the first half unselfish. Already with 13 assists as a team this afternoon. They will get up to that 20 mark once again. They average 21.
Arthur Johnson will lead. Trayvon Bryant will re-enter the game for Missouri. Rebound by Rush. 63-52. Number 1 Kansas.
Missouri's got to find ways to get good looks on the offensive end. Not just any jump shot.
Justin Gage.
Oh, good back
pass to Gilbert.
Aaron Miles slipped and fell down, but Justin Gage recognition.
Good dancing inside the lane. And a rebound by the toughest nails, Gage. And Gilbert bumping into Miles outside of the whistle.
Gooden, a slow first half. And I think this coaching staff wants him to pick up the intensity.
He's only 3 of 10 shooting.
Yeah, they made a good ball fake last time. Made the defense turn their head, but just didn't finish the shot that he normally does.
Miles comes out. They bring in Ballard. There goes Gooden. Here comes the freshman Simeon. Holden with a 3-ball.
My, oh my.
John, he's come out of no place and been a huge factor for Missouri the last 2 games, and a 3 at the other end by Heinrich.
And it's amazing there's not a hand in Heinrich's face. And I would expect there to be a hand in Paulding's face. Again, I think he's been the most consistent of all the players on Missouri's team the whole season long. Look at the play by Heinrich.
Rush is 4 of 12 shooting. Langford. Ballard. Heinrich for 3, and again no one there, and a rebound by Gilbert. He'll put up a 3. Heinrich with the rebound. In the rebounding category, we are tied at 24. Collison to Simeon.
Got to catch that one high-low, had an opening.
Coming in, Kansas has won 13 consecutive games since their January 12th loss to UCLA. Bryant got it from Russia, a foul. Kansas was number 1 against UCLA back in mid-January. They lose out there by 10. They've rattled off 13 consecutive wins since that loss.
When Kareem Rush puts it on the floor, you see the attention that he draws. Good pass that time. Trayvon Bryant rolling to the basket.
Here's Bryant, who at one time was recruited by Kansas.
Must stay within striking range. Cannot let Kansas get on a big run. Ooh.
Missouri from the free throw line this afternoon, 14 of 23, just 41%. Kansas 11 of 17, and Kansas a very good free throw shooting team. In fact, the best team they've had in that particular capacity in 9 seasons.
And Bryant, a 57% free throw shooter, should be better because he has a nice stroke. He's a face-up player, and they're all half-court offense.
Out of bounds and off of Simeon. So when we come back, Missouri will have it. It is a 66-57 game. Number 1 Kansas, led by Nick Collison. For Missouri, 15:55 remaining in the second half. Clarence Gilbert, Arthur Johnson, And into the freshman Simeon. And he schools him.
Good matchup. Johnson and Simeon, two physical players.
7-point game. Heinrich again, who's been deadly and fouled as his hand was cocked and ready to fire. Heinrich has got 21. Collison has got 21. They lead Kansas through a good 3 of 10, 7 points in the game.
Many offensive weapons. This Jayhawks team. Pick your poison. When you're guarding. Who do you double team? Who do you leave open?
John, I noticed that Roy Williams has been shortening his practices as this season has gone on. A typical thing for coaches to do at this stage of the season.
I think so. If your players will respond as you want them to on the floor during a ball game. But some coaches, teams are going the other way. You've got to spend more time in practice sessions to get them back to where you wanted them to be at this time of year.
Foul. It's Kansas. Langford picks up his second. Boschee on the bench with 4. Heinrich has 3.
Kevin, with more whistles blown the second half, the tempo has changed. A lot of stop balls, dead balls.
Gilbert double team looking for Kroenke, who had moved his spot. And the ball is thrown away.
Kroenke, a good shooter himself, trying to find the open area.
9 turnovers for Missouri, 8 turnovers for Kansas. The Jayhawks shooting 55%. Missouri 41%. Langford slips. Vacuumed in by Heinrich. Ballard looking down low on a foul on the Missouri Tigers.
Speed and execution. The speed out front. Langford and Heinrich handling. Ballard put a good pass. Simeon. The power down low. Established position.
Langford. And approaching 5 minutes gone here in the second half. Nice steal by Arthur Johnson.
Good hands.
That's a big body up there, too.
Well, and the key for Arthur Johnson, second leading shot blocker in the conference, is his soft hands. He catches. I think they should find him more inside in this ballgame.
Rush with another miss. He's gone 4 of 14 shooting this afternoon. Look at the speed of Heinrich. The rejection by Johnson. There goes Gage. Here comes Don Bryant back in for the Missouri Tigers.
Well, we just mentioned second in the conference in block shots. Rarely leaves his feet for a ball fake. He'll wait till his offensive player goes up first.
28 seconds on the shot clock. Gooden is in. Heinrich, Brett Ballard, Langford, and Simeon. Langford leaning, lost it. It's Rush. Well, they're on him quickly, John. Gilbert for a 3-ball. Kroenke saves the ball. Trayvon Bryant. Rush for 3.
Waiting for one of these teams to take charge on the offensive end. Kansas has wasted about 3 or 4 opportunities, and Missouri had 2 until that shot.
It's a 6-point game. Kansas led by 11. And Missouri has come roaring back. They're back in business. Langford with a good screen. Rush fights his way through it. Shot clock at 13. Heinrich and Gilbert. Gooden over Johnson. Rebound by Bryant through Gooden is 3 of 11.
And Missouri needs the guy with the ball right now to produce.
Gilbert down low with the fake. It's a 4-point game. Langford down the lane with a foul. It's on Arthur Johnson. These freshmen of Kansas, so impressive. They start at point guard, Aaron Miles. They bring Simeon and Langford as the first 2 guys off the bench. Confident
In their abilities, confident with their teammates, and their elder statesmen are confident in these guys to produce.
Langford at the free throw line, 69%. No one is more persistent in lobbying the U.S. to invade Iraq and overthrow here Saddam Hussein than he is. You'll meet him tonight on 60 Minutes. Followed by the education of Max Bickford. And then Diane Keaton and Jennifer Jason Lee starring Crossed Over. It's tonight on CBS with John Sunbold, Kevin Harlan in the Rocket Hearnes Center on the Norm Stewart Court. Langford at the line. Kansas is led by 11. They lead now by 5. And Nash will come in for Langford.
Gives him another active body. Nash at 6'6", near the 6'7". Defensively will guard Paulding. The matchup, Heinrich on Rush. Heinrich has 3 fouls.
Miles back in. Stokes now at the point for Missouri. A bad pass to Paulding. It ricochets out of bounds.
Good job by Kansas defensively. Nash and Heinrich switch the screens down low.
Turnover even at 10.
And they force Stokes to throw it in a hurry.
Gage is on Heinrich. Wide open is Miles for 3. Collison there trying to get the ball. Bryant. Had it knocked away by KU. And a foul. Collison, yes. He's got 2. Boschie again on the bench with 4. Heinrich has 3. Johnson from Missouri has 3. Justin Gage has had 3 tagged on him. Holding with Nash there. Stokes
needs some help. Used his dribble.
Missouri shooting 41%. They have hit 8 3-point shots. Kareem Rush. He can detonate with that quick first step as fast as anyone in the country. The Missouri Tigers on a 14-6 run. Kansas has had 1 field goal in the last 6 minutes.
And let's see their patience on the offensive end.
Collison. The defense by Bryant and Rush. Out of bounds. Shot clock at 18.
Kareem Rush working more on the offensive end to free him up. The ball fake. Both Nash and Heinrich late. Rush with such a soft touch around the rim.
He's got 17. Under 12 to play in regulation.
We'll see if Gooden gets a look. Shot clock now down to 7. Better go. I don't know if Heinrich realizes it.
Here comes Heinrich with the crossover over Paulding. He missed it all. Picked up by Kareem Rush, who now has 6 rebounds. With the 3, they get the lead. Paulding. Rush and a foul. It's called on Brian Nash, who has been unable to inoculate himself with the moves of Rush since he's come off the Kansas bench.
Well, more active on the offensive end. Kareem Rush now in the low post. Get your star player touches. And I think, again, Kansas on their offensive end. Gooden needs to see the ball now.
The Big 12's number 2 scorer. The number 9 3-point shooter. Langford will set the check in for Brian Nash, who's having a hard time with defense. Number 1 Kansas has won 13 consecutive games. If they win today, an undefeated conference record, which would be the first time it has happened in the brief history of the Big 12. The last time Kansas went unbeaten in conference play, 1970-71. But Missouri has won 5 of the last 6 games against Kansas and Columbia, which sets the stage now for a 2-point game. Heinrich inside to Miles and a foul. That was a crash with Bryant Miles.
And very typical of Kansas play this year. Not worried if they're only head by 2. Missouri has clawed back. They got a missed rebound, and they attack in a hurry. Good pass from Heinrich, and Miles smart enough to take it to the rim.
Kansas has led by as many as 11 in this second half. Missouri led early by 8. Kansas is shooting 51% from the field. Missouri trying to make it 42%. As Miles hits the first free throw. John, you're not completely sold Missouri is in the NCAA tournament. With 20 wins and 9 losses, it would appear they are. A win today over Kansas would be huge.
Yeah, big wins over Oklahoma State, Alabama, Xavier. They've got a good resume.
CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local CBS station. And 26-2, Missouri 20-9. Those some of the numbers.
Well, again, the field goal percentage. Missouri behind, but the three-point field goals, it catches you up in a hurry. Heinrich, big ball game. Clarence Gilbert on senior day, a big ball game.
Missouri out there with Gage, Clarence Gilbert, Holding, Johnson, and Stokes. Kansas with Gooden, Collison up front, guards Langford, Heinrich, and the freshman Aaron Miles at the point. Missouri down by 4, approaching 11 minutes to play in regulation.
Match-up zone defense, kind of a 1-3-1 across. Have to make sure they match up with Gilbert and Holding. Good hands.
Gooden knocked it away. Shot clock at 13. Now they're going to rush. Here comes Stokes. Inside to Arthur Johnson over Collison. And a rebound by the freshman Langford. Kansas, no field goals in the last 6 minutes. Intercepted by Stokes.
Good defensive play. Again, Aaron Miles got caught on that baseline too deep. Stokes read it well.
Gilbert has 20. Stokes working on the freshman Miles. Knocked away by Collison, picked up by Langford, triggered up now to Miles. Aaron Miles missing again. Miles 0 of 4 shooting this afternoon.
Possession so important, but neither team capitalized. Aaron Miles, 2 straight trips, the turnover, and then a quick shot. We got guys like Collison and Gooden inside.
Arthur Johnson corkscrews his way up for 2.
How about a Gooden touch right here?
Gooden hasn't scored since 16:21 left in the second half.
Good defense by Justin Gage.
Collison has been the force inside. Quick knocked away by Johnson. Missouri has hit 8 3-point shots. Gilbert with the dance. Oh, rejected by Collison at the other end.
What a ball game he's played.
Screen by Miles into Gooden from Heinrich. Langford with the rebound. Snaps it on top to Miles. Gooden started the game 3 of 6. He is now 0 of his subsequent 6 shots. Knocked away by Johnson.
And what Gage is doing defensively is staying on the floor.
Nice defense by Langford as he was dueling with Paulding at the other end.
It has started to become a physical game.
Number 1 Kansas being pushed for the 2nd consecutive weekend, leading by 2. Number 1 Kansas has missed 7 consecutive shots, and not helping the cause today for the Jayhawks. Drew Gooden. He has not scored a field goal in the last 21 minutes. He also, John, has no rebounds in the second half.
And he has not won in the Hearnes Center in his Kansas now in his junior season.
That was for a tie. Heinrich shoving it the other way. Great steal by Rush, who steps out of bounds.
And Jeff Boschee back in for personal fouls. We will see if he can get his shot going. Oh, good camera work there. The heels are on the line. The right heel. Good hustle, though, by Rush. Heinrich looking to attack again.
Rebounding even at 32 apiece. Turnovers, 12 for Kansas, 11 for Missouri. Gooden, Heinrich, Boschee, Miles, and Simeon. A couple freshmen out there for the Jayhawks. Great pass by Gooden. Heinrich couldn't convert. Rebound by Johnson. Rush to tie. Boschee with the rebound.
Will not miss many of those. Point blank. Yeah, you wonder if Boshi, who has fresh legs but really has not been involved in this game. We'll see how he responds. He has shot the ball so well last few weeks.
He knocks down a three, the 28th consecutive game that Jeff Boshi, the all-time leading three-point shooter in the history of the Jayhawks, has hit a three-point shot.
And that is not easy to do. He has been on that sideline most of this second half with 4 personal fouls. Just came in the game off the screen, fires away.
In the Big 12, Kansas on top at 15-0. Missouri at 9-6. John, how good, top to bottom, is the Big 12 this season?
Well, you're looking at the top 2 teams as potential #1 seeds. That is power and strength in itself. Texas, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech will all be in the NCAA tournament. Missouri probably will be there also. A solid league, top to bottom.
Gage will check out. Trayvon Bryant will check in. So, for the Missouri Tigers, Kroenke, Gilbert at the free throw line. Johnson and Rush. First is in. It is a 4-point Kansas lead. Free throw shooting today, Missouri 42%. 16 of 27. Kansas 16 of 23. It's a 3-point game. #1 on the line for the Jayhawks. Kevin Harlan. No team in college basketball this year has gone undefeated in conference play. Kansas trying to be the first this season.
Kevin, difficult when you start matching up with teams that know you so well. You play home and away, and you try to think, can you get through a league undefeated? And Roy Williams, they're on the verge of that now, but this is the most difficult building that these guys play in. Year in, year out.
Miles looking for Gooden, who's going against Bryant. He's played a pretty good game against Gooden this afternoon. Boshi.
They have stayed on the floor with Drew Gooden and not taken any fakes. I think Bryant will pick up a foul trying to push Gooden off the block. Those are the types of fouls that sometimes wakes up an offensive player. I mean, Gooden getting pushed in the back, didn't like it.
So for the last 6 seasons, Missouri has dealt Kansas its first conference loss of the season, and twice, John, as Kansas was going undefeated in conference play. 15-1 in 97 for the Jayhawks, 15-1 in 98 for Kansas. Both losses, ironically enough, here in Columbia.
Right, you think of the 97 team that was upset in the round of 16. Pollard, Vaughn, Haas, LaFrentz, Billy Thomas, Paul Pierce. Arizona knocked them off 85-82. This team is compared to that team, and we'll go back in double overtime. Corey Tate picks a ball off the floor to give Norm Stewart and the Missouri Tigers the win.
Kansas by 5 with 7:35 to play. Kind of defense for the Jayhawks.
Yeah, 2-3 zone right now. It's going to match up. You got Masify, the shooter, in a hurry.
Rush continues to struggle, 6 of 19 from the field. Miles into Collison. There's a quiet second half going, although 21 points is second on the team. Heinrich has 23. Out of bounds, shot clock at 22 seconds.
Missouri on the offensive end, when they handle the ball, have more movement, they're getting better shots. When they have one pass, quick shot, they're not converting. Allows Kansas to come down, set up offensively. They're trying to get the ball Collison down low.
Kroenke is out. Rush, Paulding, Gage, Gilbert, and Johnson the 5 for the Tigers. Collison, nice spin fade away, which puts the Jayhawks up 78-71. Gilbert's been quiet in the second half.
He has. They've done a nice job of quickly getting to him when he catches. Make him put it on the floor, try to beat you off the dribble. Not his game.
Gilbert's got 22. Inside a nice move, and 2 right there. And it goes to Kareem Rush. 20 points for Rush, the junior. Langford. Good. And his first hit from the field in over 23 minutes.
And I would expect more from Gooden. The last 6 minutes of this game, he'll look to shoot it.
That's a shot 3 by Ricky Paulding. He's got 20 points for Missouri. 5 3-point hits for Paulding this afternoon. And we've got a 4-point game. Collison handcuffed inside. And a little bit too much so, and a Missouri foul. With 6:04 to play.
Ball movement, body movement has freed up this Tiger offense. When they're patient, they've had open looks. Boshi got caught up on a screen down low. You mentioned Ricky Paulding, 5 for 6 from the three-point line, 20 points. Another big afternoon.
Gage has the foul. Gage will take a breather. Collison now 10 of 11 shooting free throws tonight on 60 Minutes. No one is more persistent in lobbying the U.S. to invade Iraq and overthrow Saddam Hussein than this guy is. Just seen tonight on 60 Minutes. 6 minutes to play. Paulding open for three. Bryant taps it in as he floats down the lane and brings the Tigers to within 3. Good. The drive in the set. Rebound by Arthur Johnson.
Gooden has been short on a number of shots this afternoon.
Gilbert.
Oh, tough basket.
It's a one-point game. The Missouri Tigers are on a 7-1 run. Good. Double teamed and fouled inside.
Good set play for Gooden to get the ball down low. Turn quickly to get the shot up.
Gilbert picked up the foul.
It looked like Arthur Johnson had a clean block, but Gilbert from behind couldn't go to the foul line.
Kansas has taken 27 free throw attempts this afternoon. Missouri, 28.
We'll take a look defensively as after the foul was called. Clarence Gilbert.
Through Gooden again. 3-point game, 5:14 to play. Gilbert has missed 6 consecutive three-point attempts. Johnson to make it a one-point game. Rejected by Collison. Gooden to Langford. Slithers down the lane. And the Jayhawks by 5 again with under 5 to play.
Once they have an opportunity, they take advantage. They don't pull it back out. They attack. Good block again by Collison. What an afternoon he has had.
Rush. And a foul on Kansas. Collison was in his way. And he picks up his third of the game with his 24 points. And a spectacular afternoon, 7 rebounds. Rush at the line. Rush hits it. The Jayhawks in the conference, which was then the Big 8 in 70-71 with Ted Owens as the coach, going 14-0. But Kansas, when they were in the Missouri Valley Conference in the early 20s, went 16-0. 22-23 season. Good.
Boy, cannot buy a basket. Halfway down. Good pass by Heinrich.
Missouri +2 in rebounding. Gilbert. They've doubled him every time he's got the ball. Rush against Heinrich.
Oh, good defense. Tough pass.
Holding into 3. Another block and another Kansas foul.
Kansas frustrated on the defensive end. They think the last 2 possessions they've gone straight up. Missouri attacking. Take a look at the defense on rush by Heinrich. He will get up in the air, has nowhere to go, now makes the pass, and here comes Paulding. Inside. Quinn Snyder likes it.
Paulding at the free throw line, a sophomore from Detroit. 75% free throw shooter. And with the conclusion of today's game, John and I will select the Chevrolet most valuable player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund. A tradition for 30 years. Paulding again. 2-point game, 4:14 to play. Number 1, Kansas. Their arch rival, Missouri. side to the double team. Good. Intercepted by Rush. And Missouri can tie or take the lead with this possession. Rush for the tie. Rejected by Langford. And a charge on Rush.
They have made Rush put it on the floor. This time he comes full court. But attack the basket defensively. They try to get there. Jeff Boschee does.
The Missouri Tigers and Kareem Rush trying to redefine their season. They're within 2 of #1 Kansas. Incredible career he had here. 634 wins, 32 seasons, and the court is named the Norm Stewart coach with his beautiful wife Virginia and his son.
Over 700 total wins. He also coached at Northern Iowa prior to coming back to Missouri. All-American baseball and basketball player here.
And your coach.
Yes, sir.
Boschee is in with 4 fouls. Gooden is at an off-day shooting.
Expect better spacing this time then.
Heinrich has 23 points.
Better spacing allows looks for Heinrich or Boschee and frees up the inside.
He'll switch and put it on. And a foul called on Collison. That was some kind of rebound inside by Justin Gage. If anybody gives the Tigers their teeth, it is Gage.
Now the good spin move by Heinrich and simply can't finish. And there's Justin Gage. You mentioned the all Big 12 wide receiver on the Missouri football team. The strength, the power comes up with that ball.
Kansas has lost 2 consecutive games here in Columbia. Gage at the free throw line. In this second half, the Missouri Tigers have gotten to within 1 twice, to within 2 3 times. They have trailed by as many as 11 early in the second half. And Missouri had the biggest lead of 8 early in the game.
It'll be interesting to watch the last 3:31 of this, Kevin. Which team is looser? Which one will have a smile on their face? Which one tenses up as this comes down to the stretch?
Well, with an undefeated conference record riding on this game, I got to believe Kansas is very tight right now. We'll see how they perform. Missouri looking for the upset. Gooden trying to get free. He is at a horrible afternoon shooting. Saved by Heinrich. Great fake rush pit. And that drops in. And that gives the Kansas Jayhawks a 3-point lead. A 3 for the tie.
I think you might match up with Clarence Gilbert as he's bringing it down the floor. Miscommunication. Gilbert with another one.
Collison for the lead.
Oh, what a touch.
Collison's got 26 points. Missouri is at 10 3-point shots this afternoon. Kansas 6.
March Madness. Great players making great plays.
Holman for the tie. He's got 23 points for Missouri. Langford. Oh, what a move! A mesmerizing move by the freshman who won the game at Lincoln last week with a 3-point shot.
The spin, and here's the grab by Gage, and the finish. We talked about Langford's confidence. Doesn't mind having the ball coming off the screen, looking for the shot. The ability to shoot the jump shot or put it on the floor to the rim, and also has a great mid-range game.
Gage is gone. Fouled out, but gives this team, like I said before, the toughness that at times they have lacked this season.
He is the one guy that will bang bodies underneath. You need a little push and a shove. Justin usually gets it for his team.
The Missouri Tigers, 43% from the field. Kansas, 50% from the floor. Turnovers, 13 for the #1 ranked Jayhawks and 12 for Missouri. And here is the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. The bench with the devastating Kansas Jayhawk advantage there. Get complete game stats at cbs.sportsline.com or America Online. Keyword CBS Sportsline. Kevin Harlan and John Sunbold in a frenzied Hearnes Center in Columbia, Missouri.
Langford with 14 of the 18 bench points for Roy Williams.
Langford 1 and 2 from the strike. trying to complete the three-point play. Rebound by Paulding.
Wow, that barely touched the rim.
He's a freshman.
Hasn't played that way, though, outside of that free throw.
That's exactly right. Rush. Johnson. That ties the game at 91. The Missouri Tigers are looking to get their first lead since 36-35 in the first half.
The high screen and roll, and Arthur Johnson does not put the ball on the floor. Simply takes it straight up over the smaller man and converts. Tigers with the lead.
A #1 ranking and maybe an undefeated conference season on the line for the Jayhawks. Good. Heinrich. Oh, he's been run on the money all afternoon long. He's got 28 points.
Kansas has been in enough close ball games on the road. They won at Iowa State, overtime at Texas last Sunday by a point in Lincoln at Nebraska.
A career high for Collison with his 28. Johnson. Shot clock at 20. Rush. Inside for the lead. And a rebound by Gooden that couldn't have come at a better time. His first second-half rebound.
Well, I can't believe the shot. You have a 1-point lead on the road, a minute 10 left.
Timeout taken. Right now, let's take a look at our Nextel tournament favorite. In 1995's Western Region's second-round game against UCLA, Julian Winfield hit what he thought was the game-winning basket with under 10 seconds to play to give the Tigers a 1-point lead. UCLA called time, and Tyus Edney did the rest. UCLA won it 75-74, and they went on to the Final Four and to win the national championship. And there is a connection to Tyus Edney in this building today. The guy who played at the same high school as him. That mop of hair there belonging to Wesley Stokes.
And earlier this season, with 4.8 seconds left, Wesley Stokes took one coast to coast, the game winner over St. Louis University in St. Louis. Kevin surprised by the shot from Miles there so quickly.
Not as surprised as the Kansas coaching staff was. Roy Williams just about blew a gasket when he saw it.
Yeah,
and on the floor now, they've got Langford, Boshi, Gooden, Collison, and Heinrich, and the freshman Miles on the bench.
Now learning lessons all the time.
You can see what the Tigers have done, dealing Kansas their first Big 12 loss in each of the last 6 seasons. Johnson, Gilbert, Paulding, Rush, along with Trayvon Bryant for the Missouri Tigers. 93-92 Kansas, and a foul. It's Boshi. No, it's a travel.
Wow,
it's a travel.
And Boshi went right when it happened.
And that is a turnover for Missouri.
Take a look as he crosses over the dribble right here. He carries it, double dribble, great call. Boshi right on top of it. A lot of fans thought Boshi picked up his 5th. An outstanding free throw shooting team, this Kansas ball club.
Best in 9 years for the school. John, how does Kansas attack him here?
Right, you're poised. You've got good shooters. Keep the ball spread. Get it in Heinrich or Boshi coming off a screen. Got Collison and Gooden down low.
What about Missouri's defense?
Got to stay with him, stay in front. No fouls.
Heinrich, Gooden taps it in. What a play by Drew Gooden.
Quinn Snyder will want a timeout now to set up a three-point shot. Actually, there's no timeout. Need a 3 now. Some coaches foul in this situation.
Rush. Holding an interception by Boshi, who did the same thing in Lincoln last week. Great knock away by Paulding.
Plenty of time left.
And a timeout taken by Missouri. What a finish. March has come in like a lion in the big. Moments ago, #1 ranked Kansas now leading by 3, 95-92.
The steal by Jeff Boschee, who thinks he has an open layup. The hustle by Ricky Paulding, good block. Could be costly. Now the Tigers have a chance. 6.2 seconds left, down 3.
The Kansas Jayhawks, the #1 ranked team in the country, the top scoring team in college basketball, the #1 shooting team nationwide. They come in 26-2, but 15-0 in Big 12 conference play. Missouri has ruined the same situation for the Jayhawks in the past. Will they do it again this afternoon? Missouri trying to better their lot in the upcoming NCAA tournament. They trail now 95-92 as the drama builds. We take a break from Columbia.
We got next.
Discover a sensation as real as the streets. Mountain Dew Code Red.
In and out. Good. Keep the victim calm. And 1 and 2 and 3.
Okay, there you go. It's over 130 channels, sports, news, entertainment, even your local channels, and it's only $39.99 a month.
Just $39.99 a month. Over 130 channels of DirecTV programming, even your local ones. Now get a DirecTV system for $49 or less, installed.
So it was the digital music that... Yeah.
One of the nation's most storied rivalries taking center stage today in Columbia, Missouri.
Josh Kroenke now in the lineup, another shooter for this Missouri team. Gilbert on the floor, Rush on the floor. Here we go, 6 seconds. Many teams foul in this situation, so they can't get a 3 up.
Gilbert for the tie. Rebound shot taken by Heinrich, and Kansas has won. They have gone undefeated in conference play, the only team in college basketball's Division I to do so.
Impressive. What a year for this Kansas team.
Our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. For Kansas, Nick Collison, a career-high 28 points. For Missouri, Ricky Paulding with 23. And Paulding this afternoon knocked down 5 3-point shots. Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund.
They got to look. Gilbert on the fly. Little strong, good block out from Kansas. What a season. And it's only this is only one of their goals.
What a way to begin March. #1 Kansas with the win, 95-92. So now for